There is a love that was never born and will never die, the quiet pulse beneath creation itself. It moves through every breath, every silence, every spark of being. The lovers of truth do not follow paths. They are drawn by this unseen current that turns longing into light. In that love, belief dissolves into knowing, and knowing melts into presence. For what is faith, if not the soul remembering the fire it was made from? The one who truly loves no longer seeks the divine. He becomes the place where the divine remembers its own heart. The flame that knows no boundaries is not of fire, but of being. It burns without consuming, shines without form, and moves without direction. It is the first spark that existed before creation knew its name. Every soul is born from its warmth, and every path eventually returns to it. The mystic does not chase this flame, he dissolves into it, for it is the very breath of divine love moving through all things. Love is the flame that consumes separation. It burns away the illusions that divide the lover from the beloved. When this fire touches the heart, identity becomes ash, and only awareness remains. You do not see the flame, you become its light. Boundaries lose their meaning, and what was you and what was he melt into one radiance beyond naming. This flame does not belong to time. It burns before thought and after memory. It needs no temple, for the world itself is its altar. Every dawn, every heartbeat, every silence is its prayer. Those who feel it cannot explain it. Those who explain it have not felt it. It is the knowing that begins where understanding ends. The flame of divine love is both tenderness and power. It softens the stone of the heart while consuming the walls of pride. It reveals truth not through speech, but through melting. What is melted cannot resist. It only reflects. The mystic does not guard himself from this fire. He invites it, for in being burned, he becomes luminous. The flame knows no believer or unbeliever, for it burns all distinctions equally. Its light touches saint and sinner, desert and garden alike. It judges nothing, for it exists before judgment. In its glow, all opposites vanish. Love becomes the only reality, vast, impartial, infinite. The flame is not in the heart is inside the flame. Where the flame touches, transformation begins. Old certainties crack like dry branches, and new life rises from their ash. The seeker learns that faith is not repetition but renewal. Every moment becomes an act of creation, for the flame is constantly revealing new faces of the same truth. It never repeats itself, it dances endlessly. This fire cannot be held in doctrine. It refuses cages of belief, for love is too vast for words. It burns through every theology, leaving only the fragrance of sincerity. The wise do not fear its touch. They bow before it, knowing that even doubt is purified in its heat. To love God truly is to let this flame rewrite the meaning of faith. The flame hides within longing. What you call yearning is its flicker inside you. It pulls you toward the unseen, whispering that there is more than what eyes perceive. When you follow that whisper, you do not move forward, you move inward. And there, at the center of your being, you discover that the flame you sought was the one seeking you. This love is a fire that knows no exhaustion. It does not ask for return or recognition. It simply burns because it must. Like the sun, it gives without loss. The mystic who lives within it becomes a mirror of generosity, shining silently upon all, asking nothing, offering everything. Even the stars are but sparks from this eternal fire. The cosmos glows with its reflection, each atom vibrating with remembrance. What science calls energy, the saints call love. It is the same essence wearing different names. The entire universe is a single flame breathing in countless forms. The flame teaches through paradox. It destroys to reveal, burns to heal, consumes to illuminate. When the self is scorched, the real emerges from within. This is the mystery of surrender, to be undone and yet completed, to vanish and yet become whole. The fire does not take, it returns you to what you have always been. Those who resist the flame suffer its heat. Those who surrender become its light. To resist is to live in smoke, seeing the world through haze. To surrender is to see clearly, to burn brightly without end. The fire does not punish, it purifies. What cannot burn is what never truly existed. In the deepest stillness, the flame hums softly. It does not roar, for its power is silent. The mystic hears its soundless song, the echo of God remembering himself. Every lover's sigh, every whisper of wind, every flicker of candlelight carries its tone. The flame is the music of being itself. Faith without love is cold ash. Doctrine without flame is dust without light. The seeker who builds belief but forgets love has built a wall where a window was meant to be. Only love can make belief alive. Only love can turn worship into flight. Without the flame, even truth becomes lifeless. When the heart ignites, boundaries fall away. No religion can contain what burns in divine affection. The mystic bows not to forms but to essence, not to names but to meaning. His creed is love, his scripture is wonder, his temple is existence itself. In his chest, the flame writes verses unseen by eyes. The flame of love reveals unity in diversity. Each tradition, each heart, each atom burns with the same light, though cloaked in different colors. The wise do not argue about the hue of fire, they warm themselves by its glow. Love is the only language understood beyond worlds. This flame does not need fuel. It feeds upon surrender. The more the self is given, the brighter it shines. When the ego falls silent, the flame rises. In that brilliance, the seeker sees the reflection of the divine, not as other, but as self, unveiled. The flame knows no boundaries because love has none. It crosses all distances, even the gulf between creation and creator. It leaps beyond heaven and earth, consuming the illusion of two. What remains is oneness glowing through everything. The lover and the beloved are no longer separate. They are the same flame in different mirrors. At the end of the journey, the seeker realizes he never carried the flame, it carried him. It was the light in his eyes, the warmth in his faith, the reason behind every longing. The path was not toward the fire, but within it all along. The seeker burns and becomes radiant, and in his radiance, the world is renewed. And when all words fade, when even love itself becomes silent, the flame remains infinite, self-aware, and eternal. It has no beginning and no edge. It burns through hearts, through stars, through silence itself, whispering the only truth there is. Asterisk. There is nothing but love, and love has no boundaries. When love becomes the eyes that see, vision is no longer bound by direction. It does not look outward or inward, it simply beholds. The gaze becomes the meeting point of the finite and the infinite. Through such eyes, the world is no longer a collection of forms, but a single reflection shimmering in countless shapes. The seer disappears into the seeing, and all things glow with the light of the one who looks through them. Love does not look at appearances, it gazes through them. What others call beauty or flaw, love perceives as the same essence wearing different veils. It does not judge the shape of the mirror, for it recognizes only the sun reflected within it. When love looks, it sees only itself everywhere, the face of the beloved hidden within every contour of creation. When love becomes sight, duality ends. The observer and the observed dissolve into one current of perception. To love truly is to see beyond opposites, beyond dark and light, good and evil, gain and loss. Love pierces the fabric of contrasts, revealing a stillness where all opposites are reconciled. It sees the hidden harmony beneath the noise of existence. These eyes do not belong to flesh, but to spirit. They are not opened by effort, but by surrender. The mind cannot see as love sees. for thought divides while love unites. When the mind grows quiet, when desire bows before wonder, love's vision awakens not as sight, but as knowing without distance. The mystic's eyes do not capture form, they recognize presence. He does not see a tree, he sees the praise it sings in stillness. He does not see the sky, he feels the mercy that holds it aloft. When love becomes the eyes, everything visible becomes a verse, every breath a remembrance, every shadow a whisper of divine nearness. Ordinary sight seeks understanding, but love seeks communion. It does not ask, asterisk, what is this? Asterisk, but rather, asterisk, who are you beneath this form? Asterisk. Such seeing transforms the heart into a sanctuary. Even the smallest grain of sand becomes a universe of revelation. Through these eyes, even emptiness is full. Love's gaze is not selective. It does not turn away from what is broken. Instead, it bends closer, for it knows that cracks are where the light escapes. The mystic looks at ruin and sees perfection unfolding. He looks at sorrow and finds the beloved teaching tenderness through ache. What others call loss, love calls unveiling. When love looks, the world no longer stands apart, it breathes. The boundary between the self and the other fades. The lover does not see the river flowing before him. He feels the same current moving through his veins. To see through love is to remember that separation was only a misunderstanding of sight. The eyes of love do not belong to religion, creed, or reason. They are ancient as the dawn of being. They do not follow Scripture. They are the source from which Scripture arises. For all sacred words were first seen before they were spoken. Love's vision is the revelation from which revelation is born. To see with love is to forgive without thought. Forgiveness is not a decision, it is the natural vision of a heart that sees God in everything. When the eyes of love open, anger melts, pride dissolves, and judgment turns to awe. You no longer seek justice, for you behold mercy woven into every thread of existence. When the veil of perception lifts, love does not find a new world. It finds the same world transfigured. The trees still stand, the wind still moves, yet everything shines from within. The mystic walks among familiar forms as if in a dream made of light. Every step is worship, every glance a prayer. The eyes of love are fearless. They look upon death and see only change of garment. They look upon endings and see beginnings folded within. Such sight cannot be clouded by fear, for it beholds eternity moving through every moment. Love's vision does not escape the world, it sanctifies it. When love becomes the eyes that see, blindness becomes impossible, not because darkness disappears, but because love sees through it. What the world calls night is, to love, a softer form of light. The heart that sees this way no longer asks for clarity. It simply dwells in wonder, content with the mystery that breathes through all things. Love's sight is not the property of saints alone. It belongs to every soul that has been touched by remembrance. Each time you look at something with tenderness instead of judgment, love sees through you. Each time you pause before beauty and forget yourself, love's eyes open wider within you. Through these eyes, even silence becomes eloquent. What the intellect cannot explain, love understands instantly, not through reason, but through resonance. It does not analyze the divine, it recognizes it, for recognition is the only true seeing. And in that recognition, the heart becomes vision itself. The mystic knows that seeing through love is not a metaphor. It is a transformation of perception. It is as if another pair of eyes awaken within the chest, eyes that do not blink, do not tire, and do not seek. They behold God continuously, even through the illusion of forgetting. When love becomes the eyes, the beloved and the world are no longer two. The heart sees the same radiance in every form: the child, the stone, the silence, the storm. Love looks upon diversity and smiles, for it recognizes the single, light playing in endless mirrors. Seeing becomes remembrance, and remembrance becomes peace. The gaze of love creates what it beholds. When it looks upon the world, beauty multiplies. When it looks upon pain, healing begins. Such sight does not wait for perfection. It brings perfection forth. The universe responds to love's vision, revealing more of itself to the one who sees gently. The eyes that see through love are not eyes at all. They are the heart unveiled. Love does not look times at times the beloved. It looks times as times the beloved. The seer, the seen, and the seeing merge into a single act of awareness. This is the secret of divine vision, when love becomes both the mirror and the gaze within it. When worship turns to wonder, prayer ceases to be an act and becomes an atmosphere. The words no longer rise from the tongue but unfold from existence itself. Bowing and breath become one motion, guided not by ritual but by awe. The seeker who reaches this union no longer prays to find God. He prays because he cannot escape him. Every inhale becomes remembrance. Every silence becomes revelation. The path begins with effort, but ends with amazement. At first, worship is a ladder. Later, it becomes the sky itself. The devotee strives, fasts, remembers, but love slowly melts, striving into stillness. In that stillness, something extraordinary happens. The worshipper disappears, leaving only worship itself, performed by the divine through the heart he has claimed. The mystic learns that true prayer is not asking, but beholding. When love awakens, the need to reach vanishes, and the joy of presence takes its place. The hands once lifted in petition begin to tremble in wonder, for the one being addressed is no longer elsewhere. Worship becomes wonder when presence replaces pursuit. Every form of devotion is a shadow of the one being adored. The ritual is not an end, but a mirror. When the heart realizes this, the form does not vanish, it glows. Prostration turns to surrender, recitation turns to remembrance, and every sacred word becomes a doorway through which silence enters the soul. The mind bows out when wonder begins. Knowledge can describe, but it cannot contain. At the threshold of union, certainty dissolves into astonishment. The seeker no longer needs proof, for he stands inside what proof was pointing toward. Faith flowers into sight, and sight opens into unending awe. The essence of worship is intimacy, but intimacy ripens into wonder when the lover discovers that the beloved was never distant. The distance was the training ground. The meeting is the unveiling. When the veil lifts, the prayer that once sought now simply witnesses. The mystic kneels not to reach, but to honor what has already filled him. In this union, the concept of devotion changes. No longer an obligation, it becomes a response, spontaneous, effortless, alive. The soul cannot not times worship, just as the flame cannot refuse to shine. Wonder replaces duty, and joy becomes the only discipline. Worship flows not from will, but from love's gravity. When wonder enters worship, the senses awaken in a new way. The rustle of leaves becomes a psalm, the wind a whispered dicker, the stars a silent chorus. The world does not distract from the divine, it declares him. The mystic walks through creation as through a vast mosque, bowing in every breath, astonished by the endlessness of presence. In the garden of wonder, questions lose their need for answers. The intellect, which once sought to understand, now kneels before mystery. Not knowing becomes the purest form of knowing. To the one who has seen the face of unity, every paradox is an ornament, each contradiction another petal of the same flower. The prayer of wonder has no sound. It is felt rather than spoken. It hums beneath thought, like a current beneath the surface of the sea. Even in sleep, even in distraction, the heart continues to bow. Worship has become the soul's resting state, not an action, but its natural being. When worship becomes wonder, time itself transforms. The hours of devotion no longer feel separate from life. Every moment becomes sacred. Every act becomes remembrance. Eating, breathing, walking, all are prayers now, because all are done in awareness. The ordinary dissolves, and only holiness remains. The lover who prays in wonder prays without self. He no longer says, "I worship you," but "you worship yourself through me." The doer disappears, leaving only the divine movement within. This is the secret of unity hidden in devotion. The realization that worship was never yours. It was always His reflection playing through your love. In wonder, gratitude replaces effort. The heart bows not to achieve, but to thank. The mystic no longer strives for closeness. He rejoices in already being held. Even pain becomes praise, for it too reveals the nearness of the one who shapes both comfort and ache with the same hand. The flame of worship burns brightest when fed by astonishment. Repetition becomes revelation. Familiarity turns to freshness. Each breath of prayer is new, because love never repeats itself. The mystic no longer performs. He witnesses. Worship becomes not what he does, but what he becomes. In this union, the divine is no longer approached, but unveiled. The seeker stands before what he sought and trembles, not with fear, but with recognition. He sees that his longing was the beloved's longing to be known. Wonder overwhelms him, for he realizes that the journey was not toward God, it was within him all along. The language of worship changes here. Words are replaced by presence, and gestures by silence. The mystic's eyes speak where the tongue cannot. He no longer asks for paradise, for he stands in its fragrance already. His paradise is the astonishment of being seen by the one who never ceased to see him. When love fills worship, even the smallest gesture becomes infinite. A single breath of remembrance outweighs 1,000 recitations done without heart. The soul learns that quantity means nothing in the face of sincerity. The simplest act, when touched by wonder, becomes eternal. The true miracle is not the splitting of seas, but the opening of the heart in awe. When the divine reveals himself within the worshipper, there is no thunder, no vision, only silence so vast that even thought dares not enter. That silence is the highest form of praise, and when the heart finally understands, it stops speaking altogether. Worship no longer rises upward, it radiates outward. The seeker, once a servant at the threshold, becomes the threshold itself, the meeting place between heaven and earth. His breath becomes the echo of the divine breathing through creation. This is the union where worship turns to wonder, where the lover and the beloved no longer face each other across the distance of prayer. They are the same gaze meeting itself. Worship dissolves into awareness, and awareness blossoms into love. Nothing remains but astonishment, the eternal bowing of the heart before the beauty that never ends. The heart does not learn the language of the divine through words, but through silence. It begins as a stranger to the unseen tongue, confused by the pauses between events, the spaces between prayers. Yet, slowly, through pain and wonder, it learns that silence itself is speech, a conversation older than creation. Each beat becomes a syllable of remembrance, and soon, the heart begins to understand what the lips can never pronounce. The divine does not teach through sound, he teaches through resonance. The heart hears what ears cannot, meaning without voice, presence without form. When the soul is polished by longing, it begins to vibrate with the same rhythm as the beloved's breath. This harmony is not learned, it is remembered. The language of the divine is not new, it is the sound of the origin, echoing back through the chambers of being. The heart resists the unfamiliar speech of the unseen. It listens for miracles, for thunder, for visions, but the divine whispers in gentler tones, in patience, in delay, in the subtle rearranging of destiny. The lessons arrive not through lightning, but through small, perfect alignments. that no mind could design. To the listening heart, every coincidence becomes scripture. The alphabet of God is not written in letters, but in experiences: joy, sorrow, gain, loss. These are the sacred characters of divine communication. Each one has its sound, its lesson, its hidden mercy. The heart that reads without resistance begins to see how even pain spells love in a dialect only eternity understands. When the heart is still, every breath becomes translation. The language of the divine does not require understanding, only openness. Meaning seeps into awareness the way dawn seeps into the sky. Slowly, silently, completely. The heart does not grasp it, it receives it. What is given through love cannot be studied, it must be lived. The first word the heart learns is trust. Without it, no conversation can begin. The unseen speaks only to those who will not interrupt with fear. Trust turns silence into guidance, uncertainty into invitation. The heart that trusts learns to rest inside not knowing, and in that rest, meaning begins to bloom like light beneath the skin. The divine does not speak once, he speaks endlessly through everything. The rain is his verse, the wind his rhythm, the stars his punctuation. To the unawakened, it is only weather. To the lover, it is revelation. The world becomes a book without pages, written in moments instead of ink. The heart's language is feeling refined by awareness. Each emotion, when surrendered, becomes a word of prayer. Gratitude is praise, sorrow is yearning, joy is acknowledgement. When every emotion bows to love, the heart becomes fluent in the divine. It no longer reacts, it responds. It does not interpret, it listens. Every lesson in divine language begins with unlearning. The mind must step aside, for intellect hears only echoes. The heart learns not by logic, but by recognition. It remembers the tone of the one it once knew before birth. That memory returns slowly, like a melody, forgotten yet somehow familiar. The heart knows it, even when the mind doubts. When love deepens, the heart begins to read what cannot be seen. It feels the texture of truth in silence, the fragrance of meaning in waiting. It learns that God's speech is not confined to holy books. It breathes through every living thing. Revelation did not end. It continues with every heartbeat that says yes to the unseen. Patience becomes the heart's pen, writing meaning where the mind sees emptiness. In moments of stillness, the unseen hand writes directly upon the soul. The words are not heard, but felt. Each insight a pulse of light, each silence a deeper letter. Thus, the divine teaches not grammar, but surrender, not speech, but presence. The heart learns the divine language only when it stops demanding clarity. Mystery is the syntax of heaven. The heart must grow comfortable in half sentences, in pauses that never resolve. The lover learns that not every question deserves an answer. Some are meant to draw you deeper into the conversation itself. When love matures, the heart realizes that God speaks through longing most clearly. Desire becomes dialogue, ache becomes message. The absence of fulfillment is not neglect. It is refinement, the beloved shaping the soul to hear more purely. In this schooling, tears become ink, and patience becomes literacy. The language of the divine has no boundaries of religion or nation. It is the universal vibration beneath all forms of worship. When the heart listens deeply, it hears the same truth spoken in every tongue, that love is the origin and end of all revelation. Those who know this see no strangers, only different accents of the same silence. Every event in life is a verse, even the ones we wish unwritten. The divine teaches through contrast. Joy to reveal gratitude, loss to reveal depth, failure to reveal trust. The wise heart does not edit its lessons. It reads them all. For what we call suffering is often the most eloquent line in the poem of existence. When the heart fully awakens, it stops asking what God is saying because it realizes it is the very medium through which He speaks. The heartbeat itself becomes divine utterance. Each throb is a repetition of be, and in that endless pulse, creation renews itself. Listening becomes worship, and silence becomes reply. The saints say the heart has two ears, one for the world and one for the unseen. When the ear of the unseen opens, ordinary sound becomes revelation. The cry of a child, the rustle of wind, even the hum of solitude all become verses of guidance. To such a heart, nothing is mundane. Everything is divine speech in disguise. The heart learns through breaking. When it cracks, the old language of fear spills out, and space is made for love's alphabet to enter. What feels like shattering is actually tuning the divine, preparing the heart to vibrate at His frequency. Brokenness becomes fluency, and sorrow becomes translation. In time, the heart no longer needs symbols. It does not interpret, it simply knows. The divine language becomes its nature, effortless, continuous, eternal. The one who reaches this state speaks without speaking, prays without praying, loves without limit. For the divine is no longer a voice to be heard, but a presence to be lived. And when the heart has learned all it can, it forgets again, not from ignorance, but from union. For when the student becomes the language itself, there is no longer dialogue, only expression. The heart ceases to listen for God, for it realizes it is the echo of His own word. The listener and the speaker have become one sound. Every act of love carries a secret light unseen by ordinary eyes. It glows beneath the surface of kindness, hidden even from the one who gives. When love moves, it does not announce itself, it simply flows, and in its flow, the divine travels quietly through creation. To the one who acts from the heart, every gesture becomes worship. Even the smallest kindness becomes a spark that illuminates unseen worlds. This light is not born from emotion, but from presence. It shines when intention aligns with truth, when the self steps aside, and the act becomes pure. Love's radiance is not in what is done, but in how it is offered without demand, without remembrance, without name. The moment love is given freely, the divine steps into form and calls it His own. The secret of this light is humility. It hides in moments that pass unnoticed, a glance of mercy, a word withheld, a silent prayer for another. The heavens record no sound, yet the echo of such acts fills eternity. For love given without witness is seen most clearly by the one who gave sight itself. Every act of love is a mirror in which God sees Himself reflected. The hand that gives and the hand that receives are two sides of the same mirror. The act does not belong to the doer. It belongs to the source that moved through him. When the lover understands this, his deeds lose ownership and gain holiness. This hidden light is not limited by religion or form. It shines wherever sincerity is born. The mystic knows that the divine wears many disguises, sometimes as the one who serves, sometimes as the one who suffers. When love moves between them, the veil lifts, and both realize they were one all along. The light of love does not grow dim with rejection. It burns brighter when unreturned, for then it becomes pure. Love that expects reward is commerce. Love that gives without return is revelation. When the lover is forgotten by the world, the beloved remembers him most. In secret giving, love becomes infinite. This light cannot be contained by action alone. It overflows intention. Sometimes, a single compassionate thought outshines 1,000 rituals. The divine measures not quantity, but purity. One moment of genuine love weighs heavier than years of worship done from fear. For love is the fragrance of the soul remembering its origin. Every time love is offered, the unseen responds. You may not feel its echo, but the universe adjusts around it. The divine weaves it into destinies, turning what seemed small into infinite ripple. Every kind word, every act of forgiveness becomes a doorway through which light enters the world. Love's light reveals itself through contrast. It shines most clearly in darkness, for where cruelty grows, compassion becomes a lamp. When pain deepens, mercy rises. The mystic does not curse the night, he lights it with presence, for he knows that light born of love cannot be extinguished by shadow. In every act of service, God meets himself. The giver and the receiver are not two. They are reflections of the same source. What you give is never lost. It returns as expansion of spirit. The act dissolves, but its radiance endures. The more the heart gives, the more transparent it becomes, until light passes through it unimpeded. This hidden light is not separate from beauty. Every act of true love beautifies creation. It is the unseen architect behind harmony, the secret rhythm that holds the stars in orbit. When a heart moves with compassion, the cosmos sighs in agreement. For love keeps the balance of all things. Even suffering, when embraced with love, becomes luminous. Pain accepted, without bitterness, transforms into clarity. The heart that loves through trial becomes a lamp in the unseen world. Its endurance feeds countless souls who may never know its name. In this way, the lovers of God light realms beyond their own. The secret of this light is remembrance. When love is offered in awareness of the source, the act becomes eternal. It is no longer bound to time or space. A single whisper of love, uttered sincerely, can outlive centuries, for the divine breathes through it endlessly. The mystic learns that love does not end with the act. It continues as vibration. The world may forget the deed, but the resonance remains. It travels through air, through souls, through the fabric of destiny. This is how saints build bridges across time, not by teaching, but by loving. The hidden light within love is most visible in forgiveness. To release another from blame is to free oneself from darkness. Forgiveness is not a moral act, but an alchemical one. It turns pain into illumination. Through it, the soul rediscovers its own divine nature. For mercy is God remembering himself through man. This light also hides within patience. To love without rushing is to trust the unseen. The one who waits in love is never waiting alone. The beloved waits with him. Time bends before sincerity. What seems delayed is only being perfected by divine hands, invisible to sight. In truth, every act of love is a seed of resurrection. It dies in the soil of forgetfulness, but blooms in unseen gardens. The mystic does not labor to be remembered. He loves to be real. The fruit of his love may not appear in this life, but eternity is patient with what was born of light. When love acts, even unintentionally, heaven rejoices. The angels recognize that vibration for it is the sound of creation itself, remembering its purpose. Love's energy does not fade. It circulates like breath within the divine body of the world. Every heart that loves adds light to the unseen network that sustains existence. When all deeds are unveiled, it will not be the grand gestures that shine brightest, but the quiet moments of sincerity. A single act of unnoticed love will illuminate more than mountains of fame, for in every such act, the beloved loved himself, and that secret light, hidden from all eyes, will be the radiance by which the lovers are known. When the lover and the beloved exchange names, language itself becomes silence. The distance between I and you collapses into a single breath. The one who sought no longer knows who is seeking, for the mirror of love has erased all sides. It is not union as two meeting, it is recognition, as one remembering its own reflection. In that remembrance, every name dissolves into one sound too vast for pronunciation. The lover once called out in longing, but now the voice that answers is his own. What he thought was prayer was the beloved speaking through him. The lips that whispered were the divine's. the tears, his own reflection. Love has turned worship inside out. The adorer and the adored are two hands of one gesture, folded in endless devotion. When love ripens beyond form, names begin to trade places. The lover feels the beloved breathing through his words, and the beloved experiences the sweetness of need through the lover's heart. Thus, God learns love through man, and man learns divinity through God. Each becomes the other's way of knowing himself. In this exchange, the heart loses its boundaries. The beloved whispers, "You are my seeing," and the lover replies, "You are my being." The two voices spiral into one tone, a resonance that fills both heaven and earth. Such speech does not echo, it simply is. The moment it arises, it completes the universe. To those who stand outside, it seems like madness, a human claiming to be divine, a wave calling itself the sea. But the mystic smiles, for he knows the wave has never left the ocean. The exchange of names is not arrogance, it is awakening. It is the realization that you was always a disguise worn by the eternal I. When the beloved calls the lover by his own name, creation trembles. For that sound carries the memory of the beginning, the command be, uttered before time existed. Every heart that loves purely hears that call again. It is not invitation, but recognition. The source addressing himself through the mirror of longing. The lover becomes transparent, and the divine shines through. Words lose meaning, presence speaks instead. The mystic walks the earth as both servant and Lord, humble in form, infinite in essence. He bows, not as one apart, but as the universe bowing to itself through him. The exchange of names is the final unveiling of intimacy. It is not that the lover becomes God, nor that God becomes man. It is that the illusion of separation evaporates. Love reveals that there was never two to begin with. What remains is a single awareness, tasting itself through countless hearts. When this realization dawns, even language surrenders. The lover cannot say he without feeling I. The beloved cannot say I without meaning we. Each pronoun becomes a door, each silence a meeting. In this divine confusion, worship transforms into wonder, a gaze so pure it no longer distinguishes who gazes. The saints say that on the day of union, even the angels fall silent, for the exchange of names is not ceremony but essence. It is the moment when the absolute tastes limitation and the limited tastes infinity. Love becomes the bridge where opposites no longer exist, for both sides dissolve into radiance. In this state, the lover's heartbeat speaks divine language. Every pulse declares unity. The beloved, listening, replies through the rhythm of existence, through wind, through stars, through the quiet hum of being. The dialogue is endless, though no word is spoken. Silence itself becomes the shared vocabulary. The lover who has reached this station no longer asks for signs. Every moment becomes revelation. When he says I, he hears he. When he says he feels I. Identity becomes a garment worn by love to enjoy its own mystery. The soul realizes it was never on a journey. It was the beloved walking toward himself. In the ocean of this recognition, even devotion changes flavor. Prayer becomes remembrance. Remembrance becomes awareness, and awareness becomes dissolution. The lover no longer seeks reward or closeness. He has become the place where both occur. Heaven and earth have met in his chest. When the lover and the beloved exchange names, even creation sighs differently. Every atom trembles with recognition. The sky glows with the awareness of its own source. Rivers seem to return to their origin, even as they flow outward. The whole world becomes a mirror where the divine greets his own reflection. The mystic, now nameless, moves through life unseen by the veiled. Yet, his presence alters everything. The air softens, the silence deepens, the unseen world rejoices. He no longer says, "I love you," for there is no I left to love and no you left to find. Only the current of love flowing endlessly through itself. This exchange is the fulfillment of the promise hidden in every heart. All longing, all worship, all tears were preparations for this single realization, that the lover and the beloved were never apart. The seeking was only the beloved pretending to be lost, so that he could rediscover himself through love. In this awareness, even death loses meaning. The body may fade, but love does not end. The name of the lover becomes a song in the unseen, carried by light. The beloved keeps that melody close, for it is his own voice returning home. Thus, death becomes reunion, not loss, but completion. The exchange of names continues forever. It is not an event, but an eternal movement. Each soul, when it loves deeply enough, participates in it, becoming both seeker and sought, speaker and silence. This is the secret Ibn Arabi unveiled, that the divine knows himself through the mirrors of the hearts that love him. There is no longer an exchange, for there are no longer two. The lover and the beloved vanish into one infinite awareness. What remains is the light that was always both love shining without name, without direction, without beginning or end. It whispers only this: I am you, and you are the reason I exist. When all words collapse beneath their own weight, love retreats into silence. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of fulfillment, the stillness that follows divine recognition. Here, the lover no longer speaks of love, for he has become its echo. The heart no longer seeks to describe, it simply reflects. And in that reflection, the beloved sees himself, shimmering through the quiet surface of existence. Silence is the final language of intimacy. It is where meaning rests after its long pilgrimage through thought. Every whisper of devotion, every cry of longing, was only preparation for this stillness. When love becomes mature, it stops speaking not from loss, but from abundance. For what word could hold infinity without betraying it? The saints say that silence is the secret abode of the divine. All sounds return to it, as rivers to the sea. Within that vast hush, creation listens to its own heartbeat. The soul, too, begins to hear that rhythm, a pulse so subtle it seems not to exist. Yet from it, every form arises. Love in silence is no longer movement, it is being. When the lover enters this silence, even worship changes its nature. Prayer no longer rises, it deepens. Words fall away like autumn leaves, and the tree of the heart stands bare before God. Yet in that nakedness, nothing is missing. The absence of expression becomes the purest form of praise. In silence, love ceases to reach outward. It becomes light that turns inward, illuminating without needing to shine. The heart realizes that the beloved has been speaking all along, through the pauses between sounds, through the spaces between breaths. The mystic listens and hears creation breathing the name of God without sound. This silence is not empty, it is full of unseen resonance. It hums beneath every heartbeat, carrying the weight of eternity. The mystic does not try to interpret it, for interpretation would break its spell. He simply rests within it, allowing the divine to speak himself through his stillness. This is not hearing, it is merging. When love matures into silence, presence becomes its voice. The eyes say what the tongue cannot. A single tear, a moment of stillness, carries more revelation than 1,000 sermons. God reveals himself not as something to be known, but as the knowing itself, vast, formless, and intimate as breath. The silence where love becomes God's reflection is not the end of sound, but the beginning of hearing. In it, everything speaks: the wind, the light, the dust, in sunlight. Yet none of them speak times to times the mystic. They speak times through time's hymn. The boundary between listener and voice dissolves, and the universe becomes one silent proclamation. In this state, even thought becomes transparent. The mind no longer interferes with the flow of being. Understanding is replaced by awareness, and awareness becomes reflection. What appears in the heart is not image or idea, but light without form, the divine recognizing himself in the polished mirror of love. Silence teaches the soul to see without eyes. What was once invisible begins to glow from within. The mystic does not need vision. He is time's vision. In that clarity, he understands that love was never something felt. It was the substance from which feeling was born. The silence reveals this truth without a single sound. The deeper one sinks into this silence, the more the world transforms. Noise becomes rhythm, movement becomes grace. The ordinary softens until it feels sacred. Each grain of sand holds eternity. Each flicker of light reveals endless mercy. The mystic walks in wonder, for everything speaks the same silent language now. Here, the lover realizes that silence is not the opposite of speech. It is its completion. Words are waves. Silence is the ocean that holds them. To dwell in that ocean is to rest in divine awareness, where all expression returns to origin. In such stillness, even the need to pray fades, for the heart has become prayer itself. The silence of love is not withdrawal from life, it is the full embrace of it. It listens to the divine, moving through laughter, through pain, through the simple act of breathing. The mystic learns that silence is not absence of sound, it is unity, so complete that sound and silence become one. When the soul enters this depth, it discovers that love never belonged to it. Love was the beloved all along, using the heart as a mirror to see his own beauty. In this reflection, the lover vanishes, and what remains is awareness love, witnessing itself through the stillness of creation. Every silence in the heart is a throne for revelation. The beloved does not sit upon the noise of devotion, but upon the quiet of surrender. When the heart becomes truly still, it no longer asks for signs, for at times is times the sign. The divine, seeing himself there, smiles a smile that ripples through all existence. In the silence where love becomes God's reflection, time itself pauses. The moments between seconds widen until eternity enters. There is no before or after, no near or far, only the vast now, trembling with divine presence. The mystic does not seek to hold it. He disappears into it, becoming its glow. This silence cannot be forced. It arrives when the heart stops demanding. When desire falls away, what remains is not emptiness, but pure receptivity. The lover becomes the listening of the divine open, still, luminous. In that stillness, the truth is not taught, it is revealed. Even creation was born from silence. The first word, *b*, rose from it, and to it all words shall return. Thus, silence is the Alpha and the Omega of love. It is the space where God contemplates himself through the mirror of being, each reflection another facet of infinite affection. When the lover reaches this station, he ceases to say, "I love." The words feel too small. He simply abides, radiant and quiet, a living reflection of divine awareness. The silence within him becomes the voice of God himself, echoing through the endless corridors of existence. Love ends where it began in silence, not the silence of forgetting, but of completion. The lover, the beloved, the love all merge into one still flame, burning without sound. In that eternal hush, God beholds himself through love, and the reflection whispers without voice, "I am the silence that hears itself through you." At the end of all journeys, love sits in silence, not as a final chapter, but as the truth that was speaking all along. Every prayer, every longing, every word was the echo of this stillness calling you home. The seeker who has walked through devotion, loss, and revelation finally learns that nothing was ever hidden. The beloved was always here, listening through your breath, seeing through your eyes, waiting for you to stop searching. In this sacred hush, Love no longer belongs to anyone, it simply times as asterisk. The silence becomes the mirror, and within it, God beholds himself through the heart that has surrendered all names. There is no ending, only return the infinite breathing once more through the quiet rhythm of your being.